It can be waste from a table, it can be waste from whatever waste matter. Sometimes after we have eaten, we produce waste. No? Human waste, animal waste, and so on. Waste can be in several forms. Now, one important thing that happens, for example, if an animal is dead, or the grass is dry and dead, or the tree has been cut and is dead, for example, can you imagine if this particular tree or animal was going to be in that state forever, just a tree in your background or in your yard? You cut, for example, you cut your hedges. Can you imagine those things you have cut will just remain there forever? They will not rot. They will not rot, they will just be there. They never rot. Or you have a dead snake and it just stays like that, it never rots. Or you have killed a goat and you take out the intestine, you throw away whatever you find in those matumbo, you throw away mata or machos. Can you imagine if those things never rot? This earth will be very open. This is water. Now the environment is very clear. Those things will begin to rot. Will be converted from that state to something else. Which things do you think do that? For example, Timakara Zua way, for example. The heat that comes, the dead snake starts rotting from the heat. That's why, for example, if you want something not to rot, what do you do? In a freezer. Even Maria, like Mufuna Asawore, Timamika Mujani, Matu Mocha. When they can stay here, if you put something in that mortuary and the mortuary is working, they can stay there for years and years. They will never rot. Because they are not exposed to the sunlight. So these same things that sustain life, these same things also help us to not to sustain life. These same things, so the sun, the air, will help the matter to rot and be converted into soil. And that soil can be used for plants to grow. So a lot of dead matter in the bush.
But there are some other things that even the government itself does not watch. It does a congestion like another home. Like the plastic bags.
What?
The plastic paper. Once they get and they go and
yeah. The problem with plastic papers, they will stay maybe the range depends on the plastic paper from 100 years before they can rot. Eventually they do, but they take many years. You know, in iron sheets, they can rot, but they take many years. So, understand, for example, if you buy 32 gauge, they rot faster. The lifespan is 0-100. If you buy 28 gauge, the lifespan is about 150 years. And then if you buy these IBRs, which are maybe gauge 20 or something like that, they can last to 150. But the eventually will rot. The heat, the sun will be working on them until they rust and become soil. Whereas all the other matters, they will rot within days or within months. But if you cut down a tree and it's in touch with the soil, it will rot within a reasonable time. So they will decompose. Okay? So another function of the environment is where they send waste, they absorb waste, they assimilate waste back into the environment. So, assimilate waste. It's one of three functions of the environment. The environment assimilates waste. It assimilates, it absorbs. Okay? Yes. Then grass becomes soil. Okay? No? If they never became soil, they will just be grass all over. And the fourth one is about using these resources to make us happier. To make us happier in life. To improve our quality of life. So, we build better houses. We get better roads from a park to a nice house. So basically, the environment makes us or gives us a higher quality of life we want. We can improve our quality of life just by using the environment. So it enhances our quality of life. Sometimes it's the duty which makes us happier. Sometimes we may not just be happier because we are using the environment to for example, we have the oil, this non-renewable resource such as oil. We extract it, sell, and buy cars, and buy friends, and the Gulf states, for example, Saudi Arabia, and all those countries which are producing oil. They are having a lot of money from it, which enhances their quality of life. They become richer and whatever. All from the environment. They are lucky to have that kind of resource. We need them in their territory, so they are, but sometimes it's just the scenery. So for example, you have beautiful forest, you go there and watch and become happy. You see that, the environment sometimes can give you an amazing picture, geographical pictures, which you enjoy seeing or using. So you might have cable cars in mountain ranch. So, in some countries, a mountain such as Mulanje would be a view of activity for happiness, for enjoyment. We have cable cars there and whatever, mountain skiing and all that. It's all environmental and it just makes you happy. You have a lake, you can do a lot of sports there, or just go and watch the waves and be happy, Kungo bila kujaja with some people just feel happy to be on the beach and go in the water and bath, You say, this is, that improves your so number 4 is enhances quality of life. So the idea is that you have to better. Of course, it's always true. As university students, I know you guys, your minds are always exploring, and you are not supposed to be in a box. You are supposed to be analytical and thinking all the time. That's what we expect from university students. So sometimes don't think too much about the definition of quality, what we mean by quality, but just take it in. It just means it's better. If you start thinking too much by saying, what is better? We can start a debate if we never age. So sometimes we just say, okay, let's move on. We know what you mean.
The human beings, part of the environment, are they environment themselves? Like ourselves, are we the environment?
Yeah, you are.
So
you are also an environment.
My question is, only like the same to like compared to another image. There are human beings also they also initiate the process whereby the waves are turned into another form, converted into another form. Like the human waves, they are converted to biogas as a resource of energy. So my question is, are we also the part of the government that we also initiate the processes? Like, can we consider it as the government itself initiating the?
Yeah, because you are an environment. So environment is composed of so many things, living and dead. Okay? Yeah. We are part of the environment which is living, just like animals. Okay? Just like trees, grass. We are part, the humans are animals, huh? Yeah. we are part of that environment. Now, you are clever. You are clever in the sense that you tend to use the other environment to your benefit. think and use other colleagues in the environment. These other colleagues are cows, dogs, lions, and the lions. Lions will be able to kill you, but you may also, because you are so clever, you have started inventing guns and the lions so you can defend yourself. So you have your own ecosystem. You are part of the ecosystem, meaning you are part of the chain of sustaining life. So you also can be food for others. Okay? You are. Be it when you die, you become food for plants. Only that you try to bury yourself so deep that a lot of trees cannot reach you when you are decomposed. But if you are buried very shallow, a lot of plants will be able to live from you. Right? Yeah, you become so when the animal, the tree will feed on you. So these components of the environment, they live on each other. That's why you have that. I think if you went to biology and other science, you might be able to understand more about this, what we call the ecosystem. Even maybe in biology, you can understand the chain of life. Okay? So I don't know whether I can answer you.
For him to understand better, you can just give us a good example of the connection between plants and human beings. If you can right there, you can see that everyone depends on one another. A good example would be air.
Yeah.
To survive, you need air from the plants, as well as plants also depend on us for them to survive.
My opinion, for example, human waste on its own, it will decompose eventually on its own.
Yeah, it's the environment.
The raw material.
No, it's not on its own. It's because of these other resources in the environment which is decomposing.
Yes.
Sunlight and
like soil. So my question is, the human, before it decomposes, the clever human being will use this and convert it to like biogas.
But when they convert biogas, it's not just on its own. At that moment, that human waste is subjected to a lot of pressure and it's trying to decompose. That's why it's producing the gas. Yeah, so it's not on its own. You as a human being, you are trying to initiate the decomposition so that you can extract the gas. That's what happens at that time. When they are harvesting that human waste, that is biogas. It's trickle making at that moment. And what do they do, for example? For them to make sure it does compose, they subject it to what? Process checking yama. Siba cha vela ama wika plastic. So it's the heat in there. The heat is provided by the sun. Yeah. So before we go further, I would like to ask in a small way to discuss two concepts. That is, from these functions, is the environment, does it have what we can call a capacity? For example, is the environment designed in such a way that there must be a capacity? Like, for example, if you produce a car or a machine, they always say this car can only carry 30 people, or this car can carry 5 people. If you do more, it will collapse. The car will not function properly. Like design specifications. So we have design specifications for a lot of things. Now, for the environment, does it have limits? So, for example, we are saying the air doesn't reach. Can there be something wrong? Is it always in the same quality that we want? About those non-renewable resources, can you how many times can you go and dig your hole? If it comes to the issue that is conveyed, if you had maybe 1 million bodies dying in one day, can the environment decompose it quickly at the same rate and make sure that nothing gets bad? Do we have specifications for each of these roles, for each of these functions? These functions, can the environment handle them efficiently all the time? These 4 functions. And then can we bring some gadgets and we say, okay, it can do this, that function, this function, the environment does that. Can we say, can we answer those back? Okay? So, what we normally talk about is, when you are looking at these functions, we are talking about what we call the carrying. Or the carrying, carrying, like this. Too many words. Carrying. Yeah, carrying capacity. Talk about capacity, like what I said about the car. This environment is carrying forward. What can we talk about its capacity? So, for the 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, for number 4, number 2 and number 1, we can talk about carrying capacity because it's providing. For this one, number 3, it's not providing. It's helping to put down the pressure. The pressure from the byproduct from these 3, from 4, 2 and 1, this is trying to, it's like to crash the system, right? Okay? So, this one, we will say absorption capacity. So we can talk about two things: carrying capacity and then absorption capacity. Because here, this number 3 here is absorption, whereas these ones here are more of carrying us. Okay? So, if we are worried about volume, so when we talk about carrying capacity, then what comes to our mind immediately is the type of resources we are dealing with. Okay? The resources. So the carrying capacity of the government, we are talking about the resources. As we increase our population, the individuals and or even the animals in the bush, if we all increase, will the resources, even the renewable or non-renewable, will they be enough? If, for example, population goes up, or people are dependent on those resources. So the carrying capacity refers to a situation where the exploitation of resources, so that's the definition of what we mean by carrying capacity. Carrying capacity of the environment refers to the situation where the exploitation of resources does not exceed the regeneration of resources. And the generation of waste. So now we are including both items. We are actually taking care of all the four. We are saying this carrying capacity of the environment is referring to where the exploitation of resources does not exceed the generation of resources. So, if you are cutting down trees, make sure you don't cut down more than what you planted. Or when the trees are generating themselves, for example, trees can come up here. So you make sure that you don't use these trees more than they regenerate. So, for example, if Mitego, let's say in a particular bush, you might put around Mitego 10,000 per chaka. You know you must have already Mitego, you can get 10,000. Otherwise, that's what in a simple way. That's how I can explain it. So, environmental capacity, carrying capacity refers to exploitation of resources should not exceed the generation of the resources, the regeneration of the resources. I'm saying the same thing, but I'm saying it in different ways. But it's the same. What do I say? That don't use resources more than the rate that they generate, regenerate. And specifically group number 3, and the generation of waste of the environment. If you do that, the environment will not be polluted. So, do not generate waste at the rate that exceeds the absorption rate or the decomposition rate. Then we are talking about the carrying capacity of the environment. Otherwise, if you generate more waste than the environment can absorb it or assimilate it, you create pollution. There will be some waste that cannot be managed. So don't create waste more than the absorption or assimilation capacity. So don't generate waste exceeding the absorption capacity of the environment, so that the environment does not get polluted. Now, absorption capacity especially refers to, apart from the waste things that we talked about, absorption capacity can also be generally or broadly looked at. It can be generally or broadly looked at as the ability of the environment to absorb degradation and corrosion. Absorption capacity can be understood as the ability of the environment to absorb degeneration and corrosion. Remember how we introduced the word pollution in this class session at the moment. What did I say? How did I mention the word pollution? I said the generation of waste should not exceed the absorption capacity of the environment, so that the environment does not get polluted. So I introduced that word for pollution at that stage. And you will see that we'll be using this word of pollution later on. So you should know where it's coming from. When you generate waste exceeding absorption capacity of the environment, you are gonna pollute the environment. The environment will be polluted. So the ability of the environment to absorb pollution and degradation is referred to as absorption capacity. So great mind, the great mind is just to have, I'm saying the same thing but in different ways, yeah? So just grasp that we're talking about absorption. If the absorption fails or is exceeded, if you produce so much waste, and the environment cannot manage to convert it, then you can excess capacity issues, be it the carrying capacity or the absorption capacity. The carrying capacity, fortunately, includes absorption as well. When we were defining carrying capacity, remember it included absorption. Even though separately we have introduced absorption capacity so that we can understand where pollution comes from. To recap, so that it sinks in, we say the carrying capacity of the environment refers to a situation where the exploitation of resources does not exceed the regeneration of resources. Okay? Then we went on the same capacity, carrying capacity. We went on and said generation of waste should not exceed absorption capacity, so as to prevent environmental pollution. And absorption capacity was the ability for the environment to absorb degradation and pollution. Now, from this, we can define what a crisis is. What is an environmental crisis? Sorry? In this case, as we are discussing these issues, how can a crisis arise?
It means the waste, we are producing more waste than
Or we are using more resources than they can regenerate. If we are cutting down trees at the rate of 10,000 per year, and yet they regenerate at the rate of 8,000 per year, it means we are exceeding. So we will have a crisis somehow. Sometime later, we will have a crisis. That's what we're talking about. Now, a crisis, environmental crisis occur when the carrying capacity of the environment is exceeded. So environmental crisis or crises occur when the carrying capacity of the environment is exceeded. How is it exceeded? Through excessive exploitation of natural resources and or excessive generation of waste. So there are two things. Environmental crises occur when carrying capacity of the environment is exceeded. Now, how is it exceeded? Mind you, there are two things. One, when we excessively exploit natural resources beyond their generation capacity, and through excessive generation of waste beyond the absorption capacity. So we make some addition in minus, yes? Subtraction and minus. This is what we are dealing with. So these crises either because you are exclusively extracting resources beyond their generation, or you are generating too much waste beyond the absorption capacity of the environment. Many people will say, yes, you have created it, guys. Because you have to deal with it or become the practice. Later on we'll be learning more about how to deal with environmental crisis. And we will talk more about types of crises. But we already have learned one, which was that if you generate more waste than the environment can absorb, you create pollution. So already, on the issue of you generating more waste, one of the crises that immediately were raised is that you will produce pollution. So before we go into those, I thought maybe we should define this thing before we move on. We have understood the concept of environment, its functions. We have understood what environment is and its functions, and what is done. That one we have done. But what about sustainable development? What do we understand by sustainable development? So, before we move to other things, before we go deep into our course, these terms should be clear in our mind. So, sustainable development. Development alone is this thing here. Quality of life. Basic life. Development is about improving living conditions. In very simple terms. Of course, when we're defining it in economics, it's more than that. They're talking about transformation in people's lives. Transformation in the way we produce things, in the way we use things. Better quality life. That's what development is all about. From being primitive to advanced, or being traditional to modern, to the structural changes, for example, in people's lives, in attitudes, so many that are included in indicators of development. So these days we're talking about not just being able to live, to breathe and walk, and it's more about what your quality of life, access to mobile phones, access to transport issues, access to banking, access to health, access to education, access to basic things in life like water, housing, and when all that transformation is what we refer to as development. Later, we are not going to deal with development theory. There are some people have written so much about the theories of development, how some people think development is going this way, that way. There are many authors. If you want it on your own spare time, it's not the intention of this course. If you want it on your own spare time to share you some aspects about what we mean by economic development, I can give you a volume of PowerPoints. I don't know whether you can be able to understand on your own, but I can give you if you want it. But in a nutshell, development is about improved quality of life. The big subject. Now, sustainable development as a concept in environmental studies like this is basically a process of meeting the needs of present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs also. Sustainable development refers to the process of meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs also, to meet their own needs. Meaning, if we want to improve our quality of life, if we are enjoy, we want to be living nicely. The process of doing that, of us achieving that, without compromising the future generations meeting its own needs. Meaning, if you can enjoy, it's enjoy in such a way that I just have to borrow as you grow enjoy, because faith is so what I mean? As we enjoy, are we thinking of the people who are coming 100 years later? Will they also enjoy the way we're enjoying? Will they also find things and they can also enjoy? Somebody those could have been up where I had this time, other than the time. Or in 1,000 years' time, as the time. So that's what we call sustainable. Meaning, it should be sustained. So in environmental studies, we are talking about this process of meeting our needs. We are using the environment to meet our needs, our needs now. Meeting our needs now should not compromise the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs also. Environment is your way. It's the same earth which we are living in now, which 100 years ago others were living in it as well. We are now here now. We may want to meet our needs So we may want to dig coal. We may want to dig oil. We may want to use the soil. We may want to use the trees to meet our needs. But we should do so without compromise the future generation also to meet their needs. Tusamalize mijengo yote. Ngati kudura tizali tina. So other people are coming 100 years later, they will also find. They will also be able to meet their needs. That's what we call sustainability. So, sustainable development is therefore both a goal and an approach. It's not a mandate. It's not a set of mandate. It's both a goal and an approach. It's a goal that we should need, we should want to achieve. And an approach that we should all go for. We should go for sustainable development. It's a goal that we should all go. For many people, we need to environment to meet our needs. We should not compromise the future generation also meeting their needs from this environment. So it should be a goal and an approach. So, what is our aim? Our aim is to achieve a better balance. We should work to achieve a better balance between the needs of the people and the natural resources. So your needs should be balanced with the resources that are there. The natural resources of each country, for example. If we're talking about Malawi, going for adopting this approach, remember, I said this is a goal as well as an approach. So if you are taking this approach as Malawi, the thing is, we have to balance between the needs of the people and the natural resources available in Malawi. So we have to respect, for example, cultural diversity, ecological integrity of our natural resources. So what are the components? I will just run through discussing later because we are only about 5 minutes, so before some people may want to use this room. So sustainable development basically in the concept that I have outlined, it means we can break down into 5 components. One component is that you want social equity. This is about improving people's welfare so that they can have access to all basic needs or necessities of life such as food, healthcare, blah blah blah. So if you are taking this sustainable development as an approach, one of the things that you may want to put in that approach is social equity and prosperity is often here. Then the second one is environmental protection. How do you protect the environment? So that you make sure the environment can continue to provide you the air you need to breathe. don't cut down all the trees because they will not have oxygen. So there must be some environmental protection issues in your approach. The third one is the economic growth approach component. Because you need to make sure people produce and have more food, for example. More goods are saved to people. So they can increase their income. The fourth one is participation, citizen participation. So they can take ownership. But you can also talk about issues such as gender equality. As a subset of social equity, you can also include gender there, for example. And lastly, you should have institutional strengthening, for example, as one component. Yes, okay. So we will talk more about that next time we meet. Now we should end there. I think this is another class. Now, one thing. What do you think how you going to So yeye mambo tutakuti makrasa maito kwa kama nikuta mambo lena ndio tuna kwemranga rakanitwa uso mkuno kwemranga rakanitwa nda pesa